We're here with Jonny Ruggiano. We're at the Women's Freestyle Training Camp in around Phoenix, Arizona. Let's just chat about this Captain's Cup that's coming up recently. Titan Mercury, USA Wrestling, and Flow Wrestling announced Captain's Cup. Tell me how this came about and what it is.
Well, I would say the genesis of it was really coming up with and thinking about the idea of getting critical matches for our women in preparation for the Olympic trials. And so after our experience with the RTC Cup, knowing that we had an event that was successful where we could, get a lot of competition in a concentrated period of time, we thought, hey, we could put together something, and work with USA Wrestling to come up with an event for the women. And so we had talked to Coach Steiner, and he had presented the idea of doing like a draft with our 6 captains, and we started having it grow and evolve, and we've come up with the Captain's Cup, and it's it's a really great opportunity, I think, for us to go in and promote and just discuss and show, what our women's wrestling is all about in the United States of America.
Yeah, why is it important to show? Like you were saying earlier, this is the best product USA has put out for women's wrestling. Why is it important to show that off?
Yeah, well, to kind of talk about that statement when we're talking to our women today at camp, we talked about how, we haven't seen a wrestling product like we've seen from USA that is at the same caliber of what we have today. We have a great amount of depth. We have a ton of young and exciting wrestlers that are coming up through the ranks for USA, and we have really strong, credible leaders. If you look at the captains that we have, they're all world team members. There's I think 7 Olympic and world titles. I'd have to do the math fast, but I think we're talking about 10 world and Olympic titles between our 6 captains. That's incredible. So the idea of getting women's wrestling, right on the forefront and in the viewership of all of our wrestling fans across America is really, really exciting. And so that's that's the really neat thing that the Captain's Cup is going to bring.
Yeah, some really great matchups. What are some ways that we can kind of get fans more excited about this event? Because there might be some who aren't as up to date on women's freestyle. What are some ways that we can kind of, outside of this event or leading up to it, that we can get them involved and paying attention?
I think, just in the world of social media, it's just sharing the, the discussion, the dialogues as it continues to grow. We've got a draft on the 23rd of January, and leading up to the draft, we want to hear and peer into the thoughts and minds of those captains, the prospective draft eligible wrestlers, and sharing that information. If you're a fan of wrestling and you love wrestling, you're going to get excited about women's wrestling because our women they're exciting to watch. They're really, they've got wonderful personalities and they're really great role models. And so as we continue to let social media do what it does naturally, organically, just kind of vine out, right? I think that's the best thing we can do is just tweet, retweet, talk about, what we're excited about and hear about all the things that are going to, prospective matchups, prospective drafts and teams that might come. Who do you think is going to be, Jakar Winchester's #1 draft pick? What would you choose if you were the captain? Those are some of those fun questions and conversations that kind of come in to the fold when you have a draft. And I think that's the best thing that we can do, is allow the product to just show itself and be part of the fun engagement that comes in with the draft and comes in with this event.
And you mentioned earlier Titan Mercury was involved with the RTC Cup, which happened in December, I believe. Why is it important for Titan Mercury to be putting on events like this or to be helping push events like this?
Well, I think it's a collective situation, right? We're blessed at Titan Mercury to serve the athletes we serve. When we look at the greater scope of this is about Team USA and making America the best, wrestling nation in the world. And so it's Titan Mercury, we've been very committed to doing that. It's everybody being committed to doing that. So we're fortunate enough to have the conversations that lead to providing opportunities to have this, but between the national clubs and the RTCs, we're all in this for America, for the United States of America to be the best. So, we meandered through the challenges that COVID faced in RTC Cup. I've said this a couple of times to a variety of different friends and colleagues. The work that it takes to put on an event right now is usually about the equivalent to like 5 events, right? So you're putting in a vast and gross amount of work to make this thing come into fruition. And so if we can do that now again, because we know that the model worked the first time, then we can make it happen. That's great. We take a lot of pleasure in being able to be a part of that process. But it takes a lot of people. It takes the whole community of wrestling to make these things happen. And I couldn't be more excited about the Captain's Cup, to be frank about it. I think the Captain's Cup and just women's wrestling in the United States is exciting. The individuals that we have on our team have amazing personalities and are just incredible wrestlers. And in order for them to be at their best when we get to the Olympic trials and then, to the ultimate goal, the Olympic Games, right? We need to have the opportunities for those critical matches to happen so that they've got the rust off, they're poised and ready to go to give their best effort when we're in state college for the trials.
And tell us what the dates are for the events surrounding the Captain's Cup and where people can watch them.
Yeah, so all the events can be watched on Flow. So Flow's going to be broadcasting this event. Our draft, we're going to have a virtual draft, which will be on the 23rd of January, and then the 13th and 14th of February, Saturday and Sunday is when we'll have the event.
Awesome. Thanks for your time.
Yeah, thanks, Taylor.